Welcome to On the JoB with your host, Lynn Parrish, editor of the Journal of Business. On the JoB is about the Inland Northwest business community, where you'll hear firsthand the backstories from the men and women reporters at the Journal of Business. On the JoB is brought to you in part by McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. Here's Lynn.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to On the JoB with me, Lynn Parrish, editor of the Journal of Business. I'm here today with Kevin Blocker, one of our reporters. We just put out a new edition today, and pretty good one. We have the future of healthcare. We're here with the healthcare reporter, but we're not talking about healthcare today. But check out the future of healthcare section. It came out pretty well, as did the event yesterday, I might say. But Kevin, you have some pretty big news about the proposed Sportsplex near the Spokane Arena. Tell us what you've found out. Tell us what's going on.
Based on the reporting that we put together, it sounds like the Sportsplex is closer to occurring than at any point in time since this discussion first started. Anywhere between 10, 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. I spoke with a number of officials, representatives, Spokane County Commissioner Al French, Spokane Public Facilities District Chairman Larry Soren, who feel very confident that this Sportsplex is finally going to come to fruition.
Yeah, and so why is that? What has happened in recent weeks that is going to allow that to occur?
The conversation went from the direction of a public vote, to the taxpayers.
Asking the public for more money.
Exactly.
Tax money. Yeah, sure.
It shifted from that direction to how can we use existing resources to make this happen? Mm-hmm. In short, as Commissioner French said, the funding mechanism that's going to be used will be the same that was used to build the convention center. And essentially that comes down to Spokane County Commissioners. What will be required is they will, in order to make this happen, they will take a vote among themselves as to whether or not to authorize the sale of bonds, Spokane County bonds, to the tune of about $25 million.
Sure.
For a $42 million Sportsplex.
So how do they make up that gap between the? Oh, I'm sorry.
Sell the bonds, mm-hmm. and then loan the proceeds of the sale to the Public Facilities District.
Sure. So that's $25 million.
Right.
And then there's another $18 million, $17 million?
Another $17 million.
Yeah.
PFD Chairman Larry Soren said, okay, the next step for us then, we will ask the county commissioners mm-hmm. for the release, the release of $10 million in reserves that the PFD has in existence right now.
Okay.
So that takes us to $35 million. Mm-hmm. The city of Spokane has told the PFD that if you all can secure that funding from Spokane County, we will commit $5 million to the project.
Interesting.
That takes our math to where are we
40
now?
million.
40
so
million.
We're just $2 million short.
And there is an additional, Chairman Soren said that there's an additional $1 million in reserves. So total $11 million that the PFD has in mm-hmm. reserves. And this PFD has already submitted a request to the legislature for assistance, saying that, hey, we've got the funding here. Can you help with the remaining balance?
Sure. Now the city is also looking to donate some of the land for the project?
That is correct.
Yeah.
We're talking about a 10-acre site. It is essentially a donation. What did Larry tell me? The city said, you pay us $1 a year for the next 30 years, and it's essentially yours.
Yeah, I'd take that action. So that's the nuts and bolts of it. Let's get to the kind of the fun part. What would a facility like this look like?
When I spoke with Eric Sawyer with the Sports Commission, Spokane Sports Commission, as he said, we, the commission, organizations, individuals affiliated with it, have been talking to, for instance, the NCAA. Eric told me on the record that he has been having conversations with the NCAA for years and telling them, we are working on this. We don't have it yet. There's no guarantee, but Eric is somebody who always felt confident that this was going to occur. He told me, and I think I quoted him at the end of the story, as saying that I think it was the NCAA track and field championships. We're talking about a potential 6 to 8 lane, state-of-the-art track complex, volleyball courts, basketball courts, anywhere from 15 to 20 volleyball courts, anywhere from 10 to 15 basketball courts. The logistics obviously have not been sewn up. There's still discussion as to, how much in the way of access can, the general public have to this facility. Is it going to be primarily promotions and events that will be a revenue generator? That is going to be the primary use of the facility, but those are some things that are still being worked out.
That's great. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but we had tweeted out the story this morning, and someone had responded to the tweet saying that they had talked to the Spokane Chiefs about a facility like this, and that they're excited about the prospect of it including a practice arena for the hockey team,
an ice rink.
So
yes.
There's a lot of possibilities with a facility like this.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. Now, what are some of the hurdles with a project like this, or this project specifically? It's not a green light, all systems go just yet, right?
No. There are, like Eric said, there are a number of things that have to be addressed. It isn't entirely, that 10-acre site isn't entirely city-owned. Well, I should say this. The Sportsplex is. Just to the north of there is proposal or discussion about the possibility of a football stadium. Mm-hmm. You've got some private businesses that are on the periphery or in that vicinity that I'm sure are going to be looking to be compensated, and there are going to be some discussions between city officials, county officials, city officials with regards to those property owners. So that's a hurdle. Traffic, parking, putting all of that together. When you talk about a sportsplex, next to an arena, next to the potential of a football, soccer stadium, suddenly you've got a lot of vehicle traffic. And from a logistic perspective, I think of some of the nights that I live north of downtown. I think of nights where I'm driving home where there's a concert or a game. It can get a little bit congested. So those are some things that will definitely have to be taken into consideration.
So land acquisitions, parking, and traffic control. The other thing that is in that neighborhood right across the street from the arena is the Spokane Civic Theater. And while it doesn't draw, thousands, it does draw hundreds on certain nights. So imagine having a play, a concert, and a major sporting event on the same night.
It's going to be a tight squeeze, to say the least.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned the football stadium. You had a little bit of information about what's going on with the football stadium in your story. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about
Definitely. I spoke with Dr. Mark Anderson with Spokane School District, who told me that next week he anticipates, or the district anticipates, getting the final survey, I should say study, from the consulting firm, sports consulting firm in Florida, about cost, about size, scope, economic impact of potentially moving a considerably scaled down version of Albee Stadium to a 5, 6, 7,000 seat stadium that could be situated north of the proposed Sportsplex.
Sure. So there'll be more to find out about that in the coming weeks as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, good stuff,
Definitely.
Kevin. Good stuff.
Thank you.
So check out Kevin's story in our newest edition. It's also available on SpokaneJournal.com, and be watching for further developments, because this story is far from completed.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us today,
Well,
Kevin.
thank you.
Appreciate
My
it.
pleasure.
On the JoB is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. On the JoB is brought to you by our friends at McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. Ask Lynn a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com.